possible devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Atma Maya Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for joining and giving your session. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Sri Prabhupada. This is Sundarananda from Baltimore area, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Sundarananda Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your session. Hare Krishna.
The recording has started.
Hare Krishna, I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Jipa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Keshavanand Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 17th chapter, text 1 onwards. Hare Krishna Keshavanand Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your session. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Accept my obeisances to all devotees. Can we talk about 4th canto, 17th chapter, 1st verse, which is Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. So, let me just pay obeisances. Let me just recite the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitreya Vacha Evam Sa Bhagavan Vainyas Khyapito Gunakarmabhi Chandayam Asatan Kamai Pratipujya Abhinandya Cha. The great sage Maitreya continued in this way. The reciters who glorify Maharaj Prithu readily described his qualities and chivalrous activities, and at the end, Maharaj Prithu offered them various presentations with all due respects and worship. So, I think I should read more verses because there is no purport here. And yeah, I think let's read forward. Next verse. Brahman Pramukhan Varnan Bhrityamatmaya Purodhasa Pauran Janapadan Shreni Prakriti Sampujayat. King Prithu, thus satisfied, offered all respects to all the leaders of Brahmanas and other castes, and to his servants, to his ministers, to priests, citizens, general countrymen, people from other communities, admirers, and others, and thus they all became happy. Text 3 Viduravacha. Kasmadhara Gorupam Dharitri Bhurupini Yam Dudoha Pritustatra Govatsodohanam Chakim. Vidura inquired from the great sage Maitreya, my dear Brahman, since Mother Earth can appear in different shapes, why does she take shape of a cow, and when King Prithu milked her, who became the calf, and what was a milking pot? Text 4 Prakartaya Vishama Devi Krita Tena Samakatham Tasya Medhayam Hayam Deva Kasya Hetur Apaharat. The greatly King Maharaj Prithu received knowledge from Sanat Kumar, the greatest Vedic scholar. After receiving knowledge to be applied practically in his life, how did saintly king attained his desired destination? This is a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas of disciplic succession. One Sampradaya comes from Lord Brahma, one from Goddess of Fortune, one from Kumaras, one from Sanat Kumar, and one from Lord Shiva. These 4 systems of disciplic succession are still going on. As King Prithu has illustrated, one who is serious about receiving transcendental knowledge must accept a guru or spiritual master. One of these 4 disciplic successions, it is said that unless one accepts the mantra from one of these sampradayas, the so-called mantra will not act in Kali Yuga. Many sampradayas have sprung up without authority, and they are misleading people by giving unauthorized mantras. The rascals of these so-called sampradayas do not observe Vedic rules and regulations. Although they are addicted to all kinds of sinful activities, they still offer people mantras, thus mislead them. Intelligent persons, however, know that such mantras will never be successful. As such, they never patronize such upstart spiritual groups. People should be very careful of these nonsensical sampradayas to get some facility, person's gratification. Unfortunate people in this age receive interest from the so-called Sampradayas. Prithu Maharaj, however, showed by example that one should receive knowledge from unified Sampradaya. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu accepted Sanat Kumar as his spiritual master. Okay, I think now we can discuss these verses from 417.1 to 417.5. Om Jnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. Shri Guru Bharat Ki Jai. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namaste Guru Pracharanya Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatishtar. So, Maitreya Vacha. Now, of course, I mean to say, we know that third and fourth canto is a discussion between Maitreya and Vidur. And this discussion, especially between Maitreya and Vidur, it is very important because they're talking about creation and secondary creation and how did kings rule this world, about kings, about kingdoms, about creation. And one of the kings is King Prithu, who is actually described in details in Srimad Bhagavatam. Other Puranas do not describe his kingdom or glorify him so much, unlike Srimad Bhagavatam, because Sukadeva Goswami wanted to include this to show us that King Prithu's kingdom was the best among all. King Prithu, he was the best king among all kings. So that and that's why they are discussing about him. And Maitreya is specifically asking some questions. But before that, so Vidur is asking some questions. But Maitreya, he concluded his previous chapter by saying in this verse that, and we know that the Brahmanas were glorifying Prithu. Prithu actually he was born from King Vain, Thais, by the interference of Brahmanas. Brahmanas came and assassinated King Vain. They killed him because he was not a good king. He stopped Vedic sacrifices and he became atheist. So they killed him, and then King Prithu, who is a Shaktya Vishaktar, or some people say Sakshat Bhagavan, is himself God, he appeared to actually save the earth from anarchy because there was no king. And whatever happened before him, it had already actually turned the direction of the earth towards sinful activities. So he wanted to bring it back, and thus he came. And in fact, the sinful activities increased so much that it is said that the earth stopped giving jewels and food, and there were problems. There were earthquakes and maybe tsunamis everywhere. There were so many problems, and earth needed a very powerful personality to save her. So God himself came. So Prithu, he came, and then Brahmanas, they understood, of course, that this is God himself, or primary portion of God, and they glorified him appropriately. And then what happened? What happened? Now this chapter continues. So Maitreya Vacha, Maitreya said, Evam sa Bhagavan Vainya. So Maitreya said, what did Prithu do? Now Prithu is called Bhagavan here, as we know. Now what did he do? The whole idea is, calling him Bhagavan, is that the situation was under his control. That is, by the way, the definition of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is defined who is a controller. So they were very confident. All the Brahmanas, even Maitreya is using this word Bhagavan. They were very confident that Prithu can lead the world out of this chaos and anarchy and bring back social order and establish devotion of Lord. on the entire earth. I mean to say, it's not a small job to actually bring back the order on the entire earth. If you see history, uh, kingdoms, when kingdoms became prosperous, many kingdoms all over the world, European, Western kingdoms, Chinese kingdoms, became prosperous, and they declined, and then vanished, and and then the next kingdom came. But in between the two kingdoms, when one kingdom declined and the other kingdom came, often there is a gap of 100, years uh, to actually bring back the order. It's difficult to bring back the order again. And then I mean to say, often there is a gap of 300 years, because 100 years, 150 years it takes to actually bring back the situation back again after the decline of the previous kingdom. And then another 150 years it takes for again the kingdom to prosper. And then again the kingdom declines. This is how historians see history as. So Maharaj, they were very confident that Maharaj Prithu can do it. Immediately, he can bring back the order. So he used this Evam Sa Bhagavan. He's himself plenary portion of God, and he's a controller, and that's why they were confident he can control the situation. Bhagavan Vainya, he's called Vainya because he's a son of King Vain, just like Kunti's son is called Kaunteya, or maybe Radha's son is called Radhe. Karn's mother was Radha, and he was called as Radhe. Or for example, Prithu's son was called Partha. Arjun's one of the name was also Parth. So like that. Similarly, Vain's son is called Vanya. So Evam Sa Bhagavan Vanya. Now the whole idea is they are linking Prithu's name with Vain here. I mean to say, they could have simply called Evam Sa Sakshat Bhagavan, or they could have called Evam Sa Bhagavan Prithu. They could have used this, but actually Maitreya purposefully used this word Evam Sa Bhagavan Vanya. He linked Prithu with Vanya, especially this word with Bhagavan with Vanya. Maitreya is actually informing Vidur that this incarnation of Lord, Prithu, Bhagavan, Vanya, he will bring back the chaos, and he will eradicate the uh, sinful actions and sinful tendencies of people, which was actually caused by Vain, his father. So, and that's why he links his word Bhagavan with Vanya. Now, Vain means sin. Sin. So, technically in Sanskrit, Vain means sin. So, when King Vain was personification of sin, and Bhagavan Vanya and Prithu can eradicate sin from its root. Bhagavan Vanya. That's why these two words. That's why he calls Prithu as Bhagavan Vanya. He can finish sinful activities by his character, by his personality, by his instructions, by his rule, by his order, by his behavior. He can do that. Evam Sa Bhagavan Vanya. Khyapito Gunakarma. Now, that is why Maitreya says scriptures glorify King Prithu. Khyapita. Khyapita means glorify. Glorify Khyati in Sanskrit. In Hindi we say Khyati. That means glorification. Or fame. That is why Prithu is famous. Or Prithu will become famous all around the world. Or that is why Khyapito, King Prithu was glorified by these Brahmanas, Maitreya said. Because Brahmana knew that he's going to become famous. Nobody can stop him uh, from becoming glorified. His all actions will be glorified. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, King Prithu's rule was unstoppable, unrivaled, unmatched. His rule was like that. His rule was like Bhakti's ahitu kya pratiyata. His rule was causeless. just for the benefit of people. And apratiyata, his power and his control could not be checked by anybody. He was the one and all. So Kapita, Maitreya says, yes, he'll become famous, and that is why he's being glorified by all these brahmanas. His glorification by brahmanas is not false, it's not just flattery, just like any other king who is flattered by his ministers and rishis and his council. No, actually, his glorification is true. Capito. Why he will become so glorified? Why he's being glorified by brahmanas? Because guna karma bhi. Because he will establish the religious principles back by his guna and karma, by his qualities and by his actions. Guna karma. This word comes in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnyamya srishtam guna karma bhavasa. Now this is very important. I mean to say, if you see the point, khyapito guna karma bhi. Here is the secret of becoming famous. By the way, if you want to become famous, what do you need? People suggest, modern people, they say, well, earn money and you become famous. Or, for example, they say, if you want to become famous, make your body strong. I mean, to make your muscles and become handsome bodily. So you'll be famous among girls. And if you want to become famous among people, become rich. Or if you want to become famous in corporates, become smart and cunning. And that's what modern civilization suggests. But his suggestion is something else. They say if you want to really become famous, if you want to famous eternally, become famous. Prithu is still remembered today. This pastime of Prithu, it happened many thousands and millions of years back. I mean to say, it should have happened. Of course, it happened before Kali Yuga. It been Dwapar or Treta somewhere. I don't know exactly how to calculate, but thousands and millions of years, and still we remember Prithu. He's so famous. But you want to become famous by money, by smartness, or by handsome, well, you just become like a globe. That is not, you're not becoming famous actually, you're making fool of yourself. Real fame is achieved by people who develop guna, who develop the character, guna, good qualities and virtues. And real famous, those people become whose actions always for the benefit of others. Guna Karmavi. And Prithu was like that. Described his qualities and chivalrous activities. His activities were very powerful, so powerful to actually change the entire world, make it a better place for living, isn't it? That Michael Jackson used to say, make it a better place for living. I mean, this everybody wants this world to be a better place for living, at least to a certain level. I mean, material world is nonsense, but to a certain level, it should be it should be a decent place to live in, so that we can do devotion. At least that much should be there. But Prithu's rule was so nice that this world almost became like a heaven. It was so nice. I mean to say, it is said Prithu ruled in such a fashion that the earth itself gave jewels, and there was no need of farming. I mean to say, earth gave fruits and food itself. The food grew. Nobody actually needed to do farming, because so just like any other wild grass, it grows itself. So the plants of wheat and rice, they grew itself, and people just plucked and they ate it. It was so nice. It almost became like heaven. Why? Because of his actions. How were his actions? His actions were always for the benefit of mankind. His actions were always according to religious principles. That is why he became so famous. So, yes, if you want to become famous, and Prithu became famous. Why? Because he has virtues, good qualities in his character, and his karma, and his actions were according to religious principles. And that through Prithu, The message goes to us. If we want to become famous, or I mean to say even in this material world, if you want to become famous, this is the rule. Be virtuous. Actually, there's a study I was reading somewhere that people think uh, that they can become famous among girls by making their body strong and going to gym. But actually, the research says the girls are impressed not by those people whose bodies who are handsome. Actually, they become impressed by people. Ultimately, they become impressed by people who have actually good qualities, who can actually protect them, who can give them a sense of security, who can actually have a good humor with them, who can make their who can actually help them uh, with their emotions, who can support their emotions. Ultimately, females are attracted towards that quality of a man, and not just being handsome. That's a very temporary thing. Um, so that's how it goes. Khyapito gunakarmami. Even in corporates, even in politics, it is said if you want to become famous in politics and corporates and in the world of money, well, smartness will not lead you. Smartness will not. If you are smart, you can become 100 meters runner, and see you can win the race short term. But if you want to be a long term successful person, you need qualities. You need virtues, and that is also said in Niti Shastras. So khyapito gunakarma bhi chandayam asatan kami. Now the whole point is, what did Prithu do? And what did Prithu do after being glorified by Brahmanas? Chandayam. Chandayam asa. Chandayam asa means chanda means by selected words, by the words which are chosen properly. Asa means Chandayam asa means pacified. Now Prithu, after being glorified by Brahmanas, he pacified them by by nice words. Actually, he actually glorified them, uh, and that is a gentleman. Prithu, he immediately exhibited his qualities. Guna karma, he exhibited his guna of giving respect to others, and that is by the way uh, one of the most important qualities of a gentleman. Of all virtues, one of the I mean to say one of the most important virtues is respect. I mean, yeah, one of the most important virtues is obedience, humility. But as far as practical behavior is concerned, one of the most important virtues is giving respect. Amanina, that's what it says. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Amanitvam Madam Vitvam. Krishna says in 13th chapter, 16th chapter, where Krishna gives the list of divine qualities. He says Amanitvam. One of the first virtues in practical behavior, in religion, is I mean to say, as far as behavior goes, as far as vyavahara goes, is respect. And Prithu immediately offered the respect back. He didn't really accept respect from Brahmanas. He offered it back, just like people offer Ganges water back to Ganges. These were great Brahmanas and rishis, and they offered respect and glorified Prithu, and Prithu again glorified them back. He didn't keep that glorification with himself. He didn't keep that respect with himself because he wanted to show that Prati Pujya. You see the point? Prati Pujya. Prati Pujya means he offered respect back. Puja means worship. Prati Puja means so he actually reciprocated with that worship. Prati Puja, he offered that worship back to Brahmanas because he wanted to show that that Brahmanas and rishis should be respected even by kings and even by God. You see the point? Prithu, as soon as he appeared, he's establishing a religious principle. as soon as he appeared. The religious principle of always respecting brahmanas and rishis and not accepting honor and respect from them. So pratipuja means offer the respect back, and then pratipuja, and then the verse is pratipuja abhinandayacha, and this word abhinandaya, he offered them respect back, and abhinandaya means he worshipped them adequately. Prabhupada writes, he worshipped them, he offered them prayers. I mean to say, how did he offer them respect? By abhinandaya, by offering them garlands, offering them prayers, washing their feet. He immediately did that. I mean to say, he was not at all proud. Um, first of all, he's not born normally. He just appeared from the thighs of King Vain, and he knew he's God. But he was not proud. He was prideless. He was absolutely humble, and also he was deep rooted in religious principles, and he immediately started his work, and he worshipped brahmanas. Now Maitreya, actually, you see the point. Maitreya is taking this opportunity to glorify Prithu also. Now Maitreya glorified Prithu, and then Maitreya says, Brahmana Pramukhan Varnan. What did Prithu do? Brahmana Pramukhan, the leaders of Brahmanas, and also, I mean to say, Prithu just didn't offer respect and prayers to Brahmanas. Prithu offered respects to everybody. He offered respect to Brahmana, Pramukhan. Brahmana, he offered respect to Brahmana. He offered respect to Pramukha. Pramukha means the leaders of other departments, or the leaders of Brahmanas. Varnan, he also offered respect to other castes. Bhritya, he offered respect to his Bhritya, his servants. You see, this is very important. He offered respect to his servants. Of course, I mean to say, there is a difference of offering respect. It's not you have to offer respect to everybody. But the system of offering respect to different people is different. That is called religion. Just like Rupa Goswami says, you offer respect to Kanishta Adhikari by, in your mind, you offer respect to Madhyama Adhikari by paying obeisances, and you offer respect to Uttama Adhikari by serving him. So similarly, yeah, we have to offer respect to everybody. That is okay. But how to offer respect, that's you have to learn. That scriptures teach you. There has to be a difference, because Brahmanas and servants and other caste people, they are different. So, for example, scriptures teach that you offer respect to elders, you offer respect to Brahmanas, you offer respect to king. But there's a different system to offer respect. You offer respect to parents. You offer respect to parents by actually obeying their orders, and you offer respect to Brahmanas and saints in the society by actually learning from them scriptures, and you offer respect to king by practically you offer respect to king by bowing down in front of him. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, to offer respect to king. First, you have to bow down in front of a king, and then do what he says. That's all. So that's how you offer respect to different people. So you offer respect to Brahmanas by actually offering prayers and worshipping them, and then you offer respect to other castes. You offer respect to other castes. How did you do? You offer respect to Kshatriyas. You offer respect to Vaishya community. How did you do? To offer respect to Vaishya community, he might have given them cows. He offered respect to Kshatriyas by gifting them land and kingdom. He offered respect to his servants How did he do that? He offered respect to his servants by how do you offer respect to servants? He offered respect to his servants mm, by actually giving them gifts, and that's what we do, isn't it? You give gifts to your servants. He offered respect to his ministers, by giving them posts. He offered respect to ministers. Ministers is here is Bhritte Amatya. Amatya. Actually, this word Amatya means ministers. Actually, many ministers. Uh, so, so just like saints are called rishis and munis, ministers are called Amatya. Like for example, Buddha's minister, Lord Buddha, when he was Siddhartha, his minister, his name was Amatya. If you read Puranas and Vedic scriptures, generally ministers are called Amatya. So Amatya is a post, it's not the name. Just like Indra. Indra is not the name of a person. Indra is a post. And then there are many Indras, different names. So Amatya is not a name. Amatya means ministers, and then the name of ministers. You offer respect to ministers, you offer respect to Purodhasa, means priests, by giving them remunerations. They offer respect to Paurana means citizens, by giving them rights, of a citizen. He offered respect to Janapadan, that he offered respect to his countrymen, by making good constitution so that they can be good rule. And he offered respect to various shrenis, to different communities. You see, he offered respect to communities by actually helping them to live together, and giving them the right place to live in. He offered respect to his admirers by actually admiring them, and he offered respect to Prakriti Sampujayat. He offered respect to Sampujayat. He gave proper respect to everybody. Sampujayat. The word is Sampujayat. It's not Pujayat. Pujayat means he worshipped. Sampujayat means he worshipped them according to their status. He gave respect according to their status. Sama Pujayat. Sama Pujayat. That's how it goes. He gave proper respects to everybody. Now, this is the system of giving respect. Respect is not just given by words. Respect is guna karma. You see the point? That's the point there. By your respect is given by your, of course, by words, by guna. Guna means by your behavior. One thing is you offer respect by your behavior, by bowing down, by actually praising other person, but you also offer respect by your karma, by your actions. Because respect is one thing which is very important to Vedic tradition. And that's one of the main virtues. Respect. Without respect, you lose Maryada, isn't it? Lord Rama, he was Maryada Purushottam. And the whole Maryada is based on one concept of respect. If you remove this concept of respect, you remove Maryada, isn't it? Now, there's no Maryada. You just lose it. So all Dharma Shastras, they bring this concept of respect. In fact, even in spiritual life, we give respect to holy name. We give respect to spiritual master. We give respect to God. We give respect to Prasadam. And if you remove this one concept of respect, then everything collapses. Then you fall into offenses. And that's why Chaitanya Prabhu says, Aman in Aman Dena. You see the point? Don't aspire for respect, give respect. But then there is a system of giving respect. Different things, different people are given respect in different ways. Respect not just by words, but respect by karma, by actions also. So in spiritual life, we give respect to holy name. How? By chanting properly, by chanting offenselessly. This Rupa Goswami says. And then you give respect to Vaishnavas. How? By serving them. or by paying obeisances, madhyam kanishtuktam. You give respect to God by actually following His instructions. Now I'm talking about giving respect through actions, and of course through words you can give respect by offering prayers, and then you give our respect to prasadam by honoring it and not just by eating it. So you see the point. This is how it goes. You respect to scriptures by reading them. You give respect to Guru by following his instructions. So that's why so many people. That's why Maitreya is purposefully giving all the examples: Brahmana, leaders, caste, servants, ministers, um, priests, citizens, countrymen, people from other communities, admirers. He gave respect to everybody um, as they deserved and as it should have been given through his words and qualities, through his behavior, and through his practical actions. And they all became happy, isn't it? It is said they all became happy. Some puja, Prabhupada says they all became happy because he was not just speaking. Because he was not just saying, "Oh my dear servants, you're so nice. Oh minister, you're so nice," and he was not just making poems for them. "Oh minister, you are great. Oh servant, you are servant. Your Lord." He was not. I mean to say, it is said in scriptures: if you give respect to somebody only by words and not by practical actions, that respect after some time becomes disrespect. That is said in scriptures because I mean to say, uh, if you simply tell the guru that, "Oh, you are great," and this and that, and you pay obeisances and come and this and that, worship him. Uh, but if you don't give him respect by our actions, and the real respect by actions and practical actions is following instructions, so after some time that respect will become ugly in the eyes of spiritual master. Spiritual master will say, "Come on," he comes and just praises me, and that praise will simply become flattering. Nobody will like it. So that is why it is said guna karma bhi. Music previous verse khyapita guna karma bhi. Now both are linked together, guna karma bhi. Prithu became famous because he actually had good virtues, guna, and he expressed those qualities in his practical actions, karma. He was not simply a flatterer or a speaker or an eloquent word juggler. He was not like that. And that is why Maitreya gives different examples. I mean to say, Maitreya could have said, Prithu satisfied everybody and he offered respects to all and everybody became happy. That's all. But he purposefully gave different examples. He satisfied everybody: servants, minister, brahmana, citizens, countrymen, communities, admirers, and he left up to us to actually understand how he gave him respect by practical actions. And by this, Bhagavatam is teaching us that yes, even in a Vaishnav community, even in spiritual matters, the main thing is respect. But even in our spiritual matters, we should know it's not enough to give respect just by words. We should know how to give respect by practical actions. That's the most important thing. You have to do something for the other person to show respect. You can't just say I respect you, and you can't just say I admire you. That's not enough. Or you can't just say, for example, I mean to say, like for example, if the class is nice, you can't just every time say, "Oh, it's a beautiful class," but then you don't follow anything what is said in the class. Then that's not a good way to do things, isn't it? So even in Vaishnav community, even there are so many different devotees. Yeah, we should respect them, amanina mandina, but not just by words, and not just by saying Prabhu, and not just by saying Daso Asmi. That's good to speak like that because that comes in etiquettes and behavior, nice speech. But then guna and then karma bhi. Also by actions you have to show. You have to express your respect to that Prabhu to that Mataji or whatever I mean to say, by actually seeing what can make them happy. You see the whole point. Respect, Prabhupada says, and thus they become all happy. How do you know that you are respecting others? How do you know? How does Prithu know that he adequately respected his servants or brahmanas or ministers? Well, if they become happy, it means he respected them nicely. That's all. That's so simple. If they're satisfied, that means he gave them respect. If they don't become happy, if they're not satisfied, that means he didn't give them respect properly. Because anybody who is respected properly, he becomes happy. That's the rule of this world. If I give you respect nicely, then you become happy, because that's how it goes. So that's a Prabhupada says they became happy. Now this is how we know. So giving respect to other devotees means what? So how do you know giving that you give them proper respect? Well, practically you have to do something so that they become happy, and then you can say you have really respect. Then you can say aman and aman. Otherwise, simply words doesn't help anybody. So Maitreya gives the example of Prithu, and then Vidura. Vidura now asks questions. Vidura is intelligent, and Vidura inquired from the great sage Maitreya. Text third. Vidura says, Kasmad Dhara Gorupam. Now Vidura says, I mean to say, Vidura is talking about future, by the way. And Vidura inquired that Kasmad Dhara Gorupam, why did Dharitri Bahurupam, Dharitri means earth. Why did earth, the Dhara Gorupam, Gorupam means cow. Why did earth assume the form of a cow? And Yam Dudhoda Prithu Tatra. And what did Prithu do? Dudoha. Dudoha means Prithu milked that cow. And Kovatsa, and who was a calf? Who drank the milk? Dohanam Chakim. And where was milking pot? Now this is a very nice question, I mean to say. Vidur, it seems he knows. I don't know what's happening in the previous chapter. I think they praised him by saying that they didn't say about him. Well, I think Vidur knows what is Prithu going to do. It seems like that. And Vidur is asking really relevant questions. And Vidur asks him that Vidur is predicting his future actions, and he's saying, why did Earth assume cows from? Why and how did Prithu milk her? Who was a calf, and where was a milking pot? Vidur inquired so many things, and then I mean to say, all these questions will be answered later. But the whole point was, this is an analogy to help us understand. Earth is always depicted as a cow. Even Krishna's incarnation, when Kamsa was there on the earth, and there were so many sinful activities. Earth approached Lord Vishnu in the form of cow. Actually, she approached Lord Brahma in the form of a cow. Krishna book it comes. So Earth is always depicted as a cow, and Vidur, he milked her. Vidur milked her means cow. When the cow is happy, she gives milk. When the cow is not happy, she will not give them. Even if she is pregnant, even if after pregnancy she gives a child, but if she is not happy, she will not give milk, or she'll hide the milk if she's not happy. It depends on her mood, the production of milk. So Prithu milked her. That means it's an example given that he made the earth happy. He made the people living on the earth happy. He made the earth happy, and that's why he milked her. That means earth in Prithu kingdom, just like a cow gives milk when she's happy. Prithu's kingdom, The earth was so happy that it gave jewels and food and fresh air and fresh water automatically. And who became the calf? The people in general became the calf. All these utilities were actually used by people in general who were actually suffering in the rule of King Vin. And then what was a milking pot? The milking pot was milking pot. What's this? I don't know what's this. The milking pot. I have to see. I have to check. I don't know what they're referring to. But the whole idea is that this example is given to help us understand that Prithu's rule was actually a rich, vibrant, and very happy rule, where cows were giving milk, and the land was giving food, and the calf was happy. You see the point? Like that. And the surface of earth is by nature low in some places. The Vidur asked another question. Prakartaya Vishama Devi. Now, by nature, Prakartaya, Vishama means not leveled. By nature, the earth is not leveled. Devi means earth. Here. By nature, earth is not leveled. Somewhere there are mountains, somewhere there are pits, somewhere there are oceans. But what did Prithu do? Krita Tera Samakatham. How did Prithu make it leveled? Now, this is important. Vidur is predicting what will Prithu do. His actions, guna karma bhi. Maitreya said he will become famous. Okay. Prithu is asking questions, and in the form of questions, he's asking Maitreya to just describe his actions. In the form of questions, he's asking Maitreya, please describe his actions in details. Vidu said, I know something in brief, but I want to know in details. And he asked Maitreya this in form of questions. Surface of earth, and we know Prithu leveled the earth by his chariot. And why did King of Heaven Indra steal the horsemen to sacrifice? Tasya medhayam hayam deva kasya hetur apaharat. Deva. Hetu apaharat. Apaharat means steal. So kasya means for what reason? Kasya hetu. So what reason Indra, and we know Prithu actually was performing Ashwamedh Yagyas, and he wanted to perform 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas. But Indra stole the horse so that he should not complete 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas, because Indra in Vedas is called Kratoh. Kratoh means who performs 100 or 1000. 100, I think. Yeah. Indra is praised in Vedas as who performs 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas. So if Prithu would have performed and completed 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas, then the Vedas will become wrong, will become false, because then Indra is not the only person who performs 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas. There's another person, Prithu. So we actually stole the horse. There were other reasons also for stealing the horse. But then, because of his stealing the horse of Ashwamedh Yagya, Vishnu had to interfere, because Prithu was adamant for completing 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas, because his priest said you should do it. That's how the earth will become very happy, and the citizens will become happy, and everything will become all right. So Prithu was adamant. So Vishnu had to intercede. Vishnu came. He said, Prithu, forget doing Ashwamedh Yagyas. 100. I will give you the result of 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas. Just leave it. Prithu just left it. So that's the whole point. Vishnu, this incidence. Vishnu came in this incidence, and Vidur is asking, why did he do? And then Vidur says that Maharaj, this greatly since Sanat Kumarad Bhagavato Brahman Brahma Viduttamat. Vidur says, Prithu was so intelligent, and by his behavior was perfect, his actions were perfect, his actions were so great. He divided the earth. Who has divided the earth in 7 continents? Prithu divided the earth into 7 continents, by the way. Before Prithu, the whole land was one, but his wheels of chariot, his chariot was so big, almost like a sun. His chariot was almost as big as sun, and when it landed on the Earth's surface, it divided the Earth into 7 continents and oceans. I mean to say, who can even imagine to do that? You can't even dream to do that. You can maybe make a cartoon out of it. And then he wanted to do 100 Ashwamedh. Indra came. I mean to say, Indra got fearful because of Prithu. His action was so great. So Vidur is asking, Sanat Kumarat Bhagavato, how did Prithu become so intelligent? And Vidur says, Prithu received knowledge from Sanat Kumar in Parampara, from the son of Brahmanas, from the son of Brahma. Sanat Kumarat Bhagavato Brahman Viduttamai. And not only Prithu was so intelligent in practical matters, as we have seen, Vidur is asking questions. Prithu was very well versed in Vedic scriptures and very intelligent in spiritual matters also. Brahma Viduttamat. Brahma Vid means Brahma means God, Vid means to know. Uttamat means the best. So Prithu was Brahma Viduttama. Prithu was well versed in Vedic knowledge. Why? Because his guru, Sanat Kumar, Brahma's children, they were well versed in Vedic knowledge. They were perfect in spiritual matters. And Prithu, as a disciple, he also became well versed in spiritual matters. He was actually perfect. Labdva Jnanam Savijnanam. He attained from them Labdva. Jnanam means knowledge. Savijnanam means application of that knowledge. He could also understand how to apply that knowledge. This is very important. Parampara, Prabhupada brings a point of parampara. Parampara doesn't just give you knowledge. The main function of parampara is to tell you how to apply that knowledge. Because knowledge is there in scriptures. And you have books. I mean to say, you have books. You have scriptures. So you can buy them and read them. But the whole point is you can read them, but you will not be able to understand how to apply them. And that is one of the main functions of parampara, or the main functions of the guru in parampara. How to apply that knowledge in a right perspective. Because you can read something and then you can understand something else. And that's obvious. That's it in anything, not just in Vedic scriptures. I mean to say, if a teacher is speaking to you something and the student asks a question, so my dear sir, is this like this? So then sometimes teacher says, oh, actually I didn't mean this. I meant something else. But you have understood it wrong. So many times it happens. The speaker has to say, oh, actually I don't mean this. So similarly, people can read books and they can understand whatever they like. But you have to understand what the author intends to make you understand. That's the whole point. You can read Bhagavatham, but you can actually take out your own conclusions, but then you have to grasp that conclusion which the author intends. Or Sukdev Goswami wants to give you the conclusion. So that's the point there. So that's why Prabhupada brings the concept of parampara. And he says, Jnanam sa Vijnanam. Prithu not only got the knowledge, but he also got Vijnanam. He also understood how to apply that knowledge. He not only learned dharma, but he also understood how to apply that dharma. Raj Rishi, and he became Raj Rishi. You see the point? Raj Rishi, that means he became king and Rishi. He became king because he protected the citizens, and he became Rishi because he protected his soul. They are teaching others how to protect their soul. That is Raj Rishi. He became a saintly king. This is actually Plato also says in his works that any kingdom, if it wants to be happy, if you want to rule it perfectly, you don't require a king actually. You require a saintly king. A king. Vain was a king, but he was not a saintly king. So he was destroyed in the end. And his actions destroyed the others also. They were sin all around. But the difference between Prithu and Sakshil was Prithu was a saintly king. He was a saint and a king, like Janak Maharaj, like Ambarish. Kam Gatim Gatha. How did Prithu Gatim Gatha? How did he attain his desired destination? Vidura asked, how did he complete his pastimes? So Vidura is interested in asking about Prithu in details, and he gives some hints. Um, he actually knows in future what is going to happen, and form of questions, he's actually giving inspiration to Maitreya to speak about Prithu more and more and more, because to hear about Lord, his incarnations, his devotees, and their actions, their pastimes, that is purifying. From those we learn, and we can uplift our soul. We can purify ourselves by making consciousness pure, by actions religious, by developing good virtues like Prithu, and then perfect a life and help others. That's all, and then die. That's this life all about, and then go back to God if you are spiritually perfect. So that's how it goes. I think I'll stop here, and you can continue after this. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions? Anything? Otherwise, done.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Class. Is somebody else also speaking? Or I don't know. It's from such a beautiful class. Is there anybody having any questions for Prabhuji? Please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very nice. And especially you touched upon the point of respect. It's such an important thing that Mahaprabhu asked us to do. So in that regard, Prabhuji, this shloka, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So I'm surprised that, we can understand Krishna says that Manmana, think of me, become my devotee, worship me. But if at all he says 4 things you have to do, and he has included that Namaskuru also in that. So does that literally means offering obeisances only or anything else? And also, what is the mood that we should have when we offer obeisances to Vaishnavas and to the Lord every day? It's become so ritualistic.
Yeah, you're right. It becomes ritualistic, yeah. So that's a question there. Yeah, Manmana Bhavta Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So what does that Namaskuru mean? Well, what the commentator speaks there, I mean to say what Krishna is speaking there, in this actually, specifically in this regard of this verse, when you see the context of this verse, then Krishna is using this word Namaskuru very literally, by the way, in this verse. Because Krishna says, Manmana, think of me. And then the devotee says, oh my Lord, I cannot think of you 24 hours. My mind is weak. Okay, Mad Bhakto, become a devotee, follow rules and regulations. Then the devotee says, well, following rules, regulations stuff, I try to follow, but sometimes I falter. I can't follow it properly. Or I can't follow because of certain circumstances. Then Krishna says, okay, Madhyaji, then worship me. At least come to temple, worship me, or do some deity worship. If you can't follow rules and regulations, bring some flowers, bring some incense, bring some gift. So worship Madhyaji, or worship my devotees. Pay obeisance. I mean to say, bring flowers for my devotees, or whatever they say, follow it. Worshipping devotees means whatever they say, follow it. Try to follow it. Whatever they ask you to do, do it. But then the devotee says, I cannot even do that. I cannot come to temple. I don't have time. Whatever devotee says, it appears right to me, but my circumstances are like that. My wife doesn't allow. If she's a non-devotee, my children doesn't allow. My father doesn't allow. All are non-devotees. I cannot do that. then what do you do? Krishna says, Namaskuru, at least pay obeisances. At least fold your palms and pay obeisances to me. At least do that. Or at least do that. At least pay a visit to temple and fold your palms in front of me. Pay obeisances to me. Or go to my devotees. At least when you see a saint, bend down, bow down. So in this context of this verse, the whole idea of using Namaskuru is in this sense, how Krishna uses literally. If you're talking about the author's intention of using the word Namaskuru, now that's the first point. Now the second point is, well, if you extract this word out of this context, if you don't really worry about the context, then the word Namaskuru has a big the meaning of the word Namaskuru has a big ramification. It's a big dimension altogether, because Namaskuru doesn't simply mean folding your palms and going down. If this word is taken literally, it doesn't simply means going down. Namaskuru means Namaha. Na means no, Ma means me. So the idea of saying Namaskar is that I don't belong to myself. No Maha, I belong to you. That's the idea of offering Namaskar. The whole idea, the mood that goes with Namaskar is just like Mahaprabhu says, Amanena Mandena. The mood that goes with Namaskar is that I don't belong to myself, I belong to you at this point of time. You are my master, I am a servant. So whatever you say, I'm bound to do it. Now that's the master and servant relationship. It's not your choice that you will decide to do. If it is a choice, then the whole mood of Namaskar is over. Then that is not Namaskar, then that is hello. And that is not Namaskar. That is in Western word hello. How are you? And there is a choice of hello. Okay. Now you might tell me something, but it's up to me. But Namaskar goes very deep. Namaskar means I'm bound to do what you say. And that's the whole mood when a person does Namaskar to maybe elders, or maybe parents, or maybe senior citizens in the society, or maybe spiritual master, isn't it? That then, or maybe God himself. And that means that I don't belong to myself, I belong to you. I'm a master, I'm a servant, I'm bound to do what you say. So that's a mood when we offer namaskar or we offer obeisances. If you take this word out of the context of that verse in a very broad sense, and that is what Mahaprabhu says, Amanina Mandena. Amanina, that's what I was explaining, Prithumraj. Amanina Mandena. Mahaprabhu says, don't accept respect, give respect. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that we simply speak Prabhu or we simply pay obeisances. That's okay. That's, I mean to say, in behavior you should do that. That is a behavioral thing. But then in actions, I was explaining, in actions, you have to express that respect by making that devotee happy, by doing something. And that's the whole crux of respect, by making that devotee happy by doing something. So then you have to do something practically. Amanena mandena. And then, so giving respect, though, so you have to make God happy, you have to make devotees happy, and then you have to see what you can do for that person so that he becomes happy. Now that's the whole point. Different people are different, isn't it? So some people, I mean to say, for making Mataji's happy, you have to do something else. For making Prabhuji's happy, you have to do something else. Their whole psychology is different, isn't it? Different Matajis are different. So you have to exactly, giving respect means you have to enter their heart. you have to enter within them and then see exactly what they want and give them. Of course, I mean to say, you don't want to give them something materialistic things. That's the whole. Of course, not that, but exactly what they require for the spiritual life. Uh, what will exactly benefit them? What will really benefit them? Not just uh, you, not just that you think that it benefits them. It's not. It's not our thinking. I think this will benefit them. It's not like that. It is what in reality will benefit them, and what exactly he wants in his mind. What is his intentions? What is his desire deep in the core of us? And you see, God does like that. Dhruva, I mean, say just like devotees offer respect to God, God also offers respects to his devotees. How does God offer respect to his devotees? By fulfilling their desires. Because if you fulfill the desires, they'll become happy. And if you ask God, if you ask Krishna, you're giving blessings to your devotees by fulfilling their desires, Krishna will say no. Krishna will say, I am respecting my devotees by fulfilling their desires. That's how he thinks. I'm giving what they want because I am their servant. You see, within his mind, Krishna thinks like that. That's why Prabhupada says Krishna is the most humble. He's the humblest of humble, isn't it? So that's a gentleman. So 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 that is why all Dharma Shastras and Garuda Puran says that when you talk to a person, you have to understand. Uh, and if you're talking to a devotee, if you really want to follow the principles of Amanina Mandina, then you really have to understand his intentions, his heart, by observing his. So I mean to say, Manu Samhita says by observing his. Brahaspati Nitisha says by observing his facial expressions, by observing his speech, by observing his behavior, his actions, and all of these, and his words, by listening to his words. You have to actually listen to them properly, so exactly to understand what they want, and then understand their desires, their intentions, and then fulfill their desires accordingly, in such a way so that they advance in spiritual life, and then they'll become happy. And that is a principle of Amanina Mandena. And that is a principle of Namaskar in a very broad sense. That is called Namaskar. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So these are the two, I mean to say, you asked two questions. They're very different questions because, and the first question was, what does that word namaskuru means? In this verse, the author's intention of using the word namaskar is very literal sense. At least pay external obeisances if you can't do anything else. But but another question was, what do we mean by this word namaskar? But if you take this word out of this verse, out of the context, namaskar, just namaskar, what does that mean? Then the meaning is this, that to give respect to other, to actually sell yourself to other person. And how do you give respect? By making him happy. How do you make him happy? By fulfilling his desires. How do you fulfill his desires? You have to understand what he wants. How do you understand what he wants? By listening to him, by observing his behavior, his expressions, and his actions. And when he becomes happy, then this means you have given him proper respect. And that's how you give respect, through actions. And of course, we give respect through words and by behavior. That's guna karma. Namaskar in the perspective of guna and karma. This is the meaning of this. So I think that's the Vaishnav mood there. I mean to say, you see so many devotees. We all think Amanina Mandena is a very superficial concept. It's just a concept that you go and speak some nice words and pay obeisances, dandavat, pranam, and that's it. That's not the principle. If that was I mean to say, it's not a superficial principle which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to tell us. He's God. And Mahaprabhu says, if you do this, then Sada Kirtana Hari. And you can always chant nicely. And it's so understandable. If you can please devotees in the so by understanding them and fulfilling the desires in such a way that they advance spiritually, then they'll become happy. You'll become happy by seeing them. And in a happy mood, you can chant nicely. Otherwise, if a mind is frustrated, he can't chant properly. They will be full of anxiety. It's a very practical principle, not just a theoretical principle. Sometimes, so sometimes you give respect to other person also by accepting that you're wrong. That's also the thing. If you're talking to that devotee, and if you think that his whole, I mean to say, if you think he'll become happy by putting yourself low and by accepting that you're wrong, even if you're right, then you ask sorry. That's why you say you're wrong, and that will be giving respect to him. You see, you're giving respect to him by saying you're sorry, even if you're right, because that makes him happy. Because and why to make him happy? Because if he's happy, then he can practice spiritual life, and then in a happy mood, then he can understand what you're saying. Otherwise he'll not even listen to you. So it'll make him happy, and it'll also help him advance in spiritual life. Okay, you're sorry, even if you're right, I'm wrong. And then that acceptance that you're wrong, at that point, that will be giving respect. So it's a very broad concept, amanena mandena. And how do we learn all these things? By applying this principle, and not just by reading it and following it superficially. We have to apply it, and the more you apply it, the more we understand it. But the principles I have told, what does Mahaprabhu means? Amarena mandena. That's how we touch again respect. Is it okay? I mean to say that was a question.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the elaborate answer. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Keshavanand Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. Nice class,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
This is Sureshwar Sham from Charlotte, Prabhuji. So,
Oh,
Prabhuji,
yeah.
one question.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, one question in regard what you are saying now. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears as King Prithu, Guna and Karma really does not apply to the Supreme Lord, right, Prabhu?
No. Why? I mean to say, why? Well, God has qualities and God is doing good actions. I mean to say, so in what sense you are saying Guna Karma? Actually, I understand. So you're saying in three modes of material nature, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji, yeah.
No. Here the understanding is Guna Karma is not used from the perspective of three modes of material nature. Here, Guna Karma is used in a very general sense, in the sense of qualities and actions. That's all. It is not three modes of material nature. It is used in the sense, in a very literal sense. Krishna's transcendental qualities, God's transcendental qualities, and God's transcendental actions. That's how it's used here.
Okay, Prabhuji, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so
Thank
Hare
you, sir.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class, Prabhu. I had a question. So, what should be the mood of us when we actually have the Mahaprasad of sadhus, and there are Antilila talks about three things: the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees, the Mahajal, the water that we do the Padabhishekam with, and then the Mahaprasad that are eaten by the sadhus.
Yeah, I mean to say, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, what's a mood? Mahaprabhu says that when a devotee honors prasad or Mahaprasad, he thinks that it is touched by the lips of Krishna. That's one of the modes which Mahaprabhu teaches. And That is basically a sweet mood when we honor prasad, touched by the lips of Krishna, and that's why. So whatever taste this prasad is having, it's because it is touched by the lips of Krishna. Or Rupa Goswami teaches us, when you honor prasad, prasad means mercy. So devotee thinks, well, this is not food, but this is mercy of God, uh, which we are obtaining uh, by whatever fortune, unknown fortune, or by the mercy of Krishna, we are obtaining this mercy in physical form. You see, prasad is mercy in physical form, which is actually going inside you. Krishna can give mercy in form of blessings or in form of protecting his devotee, just like he protected Prahlad, or in form of nourishing the devotion of a devotee, just like he nourished the devotion of Jamil and Vritsasur. But those kind of mercy you can't see. But prasad is such a mercy which you can see, which you can feel, which you can touch, and which you can actually take inside you. That's funny. So this is a manifestation, physical manifestation of mercy in front of you, prasad, with which you can actually intimately associate. Prasad, you can actually make an intimate connection with that mercy. So devotee is conscious of this fact when he honors prasad. This is mercy manifested in front of me, and this is one of the mood. And the other mood is what Lord Shiva he thought, what Parvati thought. So when he took Mahaprasad of Vishnu, Lord Shiva was thinking, well, or Parvati, she was thinking, well, this prasad should be available to everybody. Just like this mercy I'm getting, and I'm so fortunate to get this mercy. Well, everybody should be fortunate to get this mercy. Let this mercy should be available to everybody. Just like Ramanuja he was thinking when he took Mahaprasad of I think Guru, he took Mahaprasad of Mahabhuta or somebody. Then he said, let this be available to all people, even downtrodden people, even Shudras. And his Guru said, well, this prasadam should not be given to untouchables. I mean to say, we can't really go and give them. So Ramanuja said, no, prasadam should be available to everybody. And that's how, I mean to say, so there was some kind of discussion like that. So, but the whole point was, he was thinking, when he honored prasad, he was thinking, oh my God, this should be available to all, because this is the most fortunate thing which can happen to anyone, honoring prasad of the God. So that should be the mood, not just for oneself, but for others. When you're honoring prasad, this should be available to everyone. So these are some moods. I mean to say, there's not a fixed mood. There's not a fixed mood, and because bhakti is not something fixed, bhakti is very dynamic. And there are moods in devotion which flows like sea waves. Hasati, rauti, rodati, unmat, vadnityati loka bhaiye. Bhagavatam says sometimes the devotee becomes happy, sometimes angry, sometimes he weeps, sometimes he becomes unconscious, sometimes he dances. So there are different moods and waves of moods, different ecstasies. So there are some moods which Mahaprabhu or Raghunath Das Goswami or Lord Shiva they are teaching, and we meditate on them, then we can advance in devotion. Or maybe Bhakti Siddhanta also says, when you're this is another mood which you can sometimes think when you're offering prasad, then you can think, my God, I'm so fallen, I'm so sinful that and I've got this sinful body which converts this prasad into stool. This is complete nonsense. This is one mood which we can also have sometimes. that we are so sinful that we convert this prasad into stool. That's I'm to say we are trapped in such a sinful body. We are trapped in such a body, in such a flesh, that this converts prasad into stool. So we should escape from this. It's this machine made of flesh and get a spiritual body, which will treat prasad as a prasad and will not actually mess up with it. So these are some moods which these great personalities teach us, and you can have either of them while honoring prasad. Either of them, it's your choice, or maybe all of them while taking prasad. Let this mood come and go and flow, and relish
How about the purification? I mean, can you also think about that? Like, let it purify me. That's the mood that you were talking about on the stool, right? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Got it.
So like that, these are the some moods which we have while honoring prasad.
Sure, Prabhu. So I have another question, Prabhu. When we see characters where they are liberated and they come back to the material world to help us out in Krishna's pastimes, are they in the does the modes even apply to them? I don't think so, right? I mean,
what applies to them? What applies to them?
Material modes, they don't apply to them, right?
On whom? People who come from spiritual world?
Yeah, or for those who are liberated.
Those who come to the material world, except God, anybody can be affected by modes of material nature. Anyone, at any time. Only God
even those liberated. Okay.
Yeah. Only God is nirasta kuhukam. Even only God. God is defined as Janmadhyasya Nivajataritasya Abhikyaswarat. Abhikyaswarat. He is independent of everything. Nirasta kuhukam. No material modes can ever affect him at any point of time. That is God. But any living entity, any jiva, whether liberated or conditioned, of course conditioned is already affected by material modes of nature. Any jiva, he can never do creation and destruction, and he's always prone to be affected by material modes of nature or illusion. He's not exempt because he's tiny. We know God is Vibhu and Jivatma is very tiny. It's a spark, and the spark can anytime be affected by material modes of nature. That's a definition of Jiva, by the way. So whether a Jiva is liberated or conditioned doesn't matter. That's what is Jiva. Just like, for example, stone. Can stone be affected by modes of material nature? Tell me. Can it be?
No.
No, because so suppose if you say this stone I have brought from Badrikashram, from Himalayas, or this stone is from Vrindavan, so it should not be affected by modes of material nature. Well, stone is stone. It's a dead object. There is no question of being it affected by modes of material nature. It's a dead thing. Whether it's from Himalayas, from Badrikashram, from Punjab, from Hardwar, from anywhere, stone is a stone. It cannot be affected. I mean, there's no question of modes of material nature acting on a stone. Stone is a stone. It's dead. Similarly, Jiva. Jiva is defined as Jiva is that energy of Lord which is prone to fall in illusion. And that's why we call Jiva as marginal energy, isn't it? So marginal energy because it can be affected by internal or external energy, either of them. It's between them. It can be affected by either of them. But it can choose, that's one thing. So liberated souls choose not to be, liberated souls choose internal potency. Conditioned souls choose external potency.